So I just got this John Deere 401C from an auction, and it does not currently run. Hour meter shows about 3,900 hours, but it don't look like it works anymore. The only story I got behind this was that it's been sitting for about 4 years. It was running when it was parked, but the fuel tank rusted out. And that's pretty much all I got on it. It's got oil in it. Coolant's full. Fuel tank here. There is fuel down in there. So that kind of makes this a interesting story. Still not seeing any rust on the tank. Yeah, it looks okay. Oh, good turn. That's good. I'm pretty sure the key was in here at the auction. Somebody must have taken it or something. So I'll have to work around that. See if we can get this thing turning over and get some fuel to it. But it looks like we have clean fuel in the bottom of our bowl. It doesn't look like water. So that's a good sign. Looking in the battery compartment here, we have quite the setup going on. Alright, so here's our current battery setup. We're going to go ahead and see. I'm going to go ahead and see if our fuel solenoid does anything. Yes, it does. Okay, that's good. We'll hook that up for now. Everything's in neutral. Let's see if we have a starter. I'm sure all the rust on here is good for it. Ooh. Okay, well it runs immediately, so where do we go from here? That just started right up. That was quite the easy revival for sitting for 4 years. But now I got to figure out why we don't have any hydraulics. Alright, so I meant to check this beforehand, but I couldn't find it. Transmission dipstick. Here's a tiny bit on the end, but I don't know. We'll call that empty for now. Let's throw some in it. Unfortunately, I don't have very much oil here, but hopefully it's enough to at least get some things moving, if that's the issue. Well, it had just enough to get the bucket off the ground. I believe this has a hydraulic clutch in it, or I think they call it a hydraulic reverser. So it obviously won't move with no hydraulic pressure. So I guess let's get some more oil for this thing. I'm not seeing any major leaks. No fuel's leaking, nothing like that. So I really don't know what the deal was with this tractor. Why they said the fuel tank rusted out, because it definitely did not. I did notice this small line started dripping. It blew apart right there. Alright, so I've cut this line down. I'm gonna try and re-flare it. Alright, we're about the halfway mark. I've put almost 7 gallons of oil in this thing now. I'm also sure that there will be plenty more lines to blow on this thing as well. So let's see if it'll move. I was able to get a key, but it does nothing. So we'll have to diagnose that further. It definitely took a while for the clutches to catch in. I don't know if they were sticking or what, but it seemed like every time I engaged the hydraulics, they started to pick up more and more. I'm sure we sucked up tons of fluid back into our lines and cylinders here. Now, if what I read online is correct, this dipstick should show like in the middle or full while the tractor's idling. And it's obviously dry again, so let's put some more oil in it. Definitely needs a counterweight. I'm willing to bet these tires don't have fluid in them. Oh, I would be wrong. They do. Still need the counterweight. It's pretty obvious where our key doesn't work here. So I traced the harness from the alternator, and this thick red wire is our battery feed to the key switch. If you come down here in the harness, it's not connected to anything. It looks like somebody customized this right here. This is not the original terminal, so that's probably why it doesn't latch in there. I'm going to plug this back up and stick that in and see what we get. Anyways. Oh. Oil pressure light. Fuel gauge moves and I can hear that. Okay. Alright, well I finally figured out the issue with this thing as far as the fuel tank goes. It bogged down and stalled out while I was driving it, and I cracked the bleeder here and I could hear it sucking air. So we have a restriction somewhere. I'm assuming it's in the bottom of the tank, clogging up our fuel flow. I'm going to go ahead and replace that while we're in here. Ooh. Yep, that was your problem right there. So all these rust chunks came out of the bottom. Well, that's grease, but... So you can see the amount of rust flakes, and that's just what stayed on the funnel. That feels like a fishing rod or something. Like a... It's not metal. Alright, so there's the screen for the fuel tank outlet. That is obviously not attached anymore. It's pretty plugged up too. So if anybody else is cleaning out your John Deere tank and you don't want the sending unit to get damaged, one of these Zen lids is a perfect fit. So you can kind of see in there, we've got a nice clean fuel tank now. I did test the sending unit with a multimeter and it works good, but our float has some pinholes in it. So I measured it. I found this online. It's off of an old Ford truck. I don't remember the year, but it was a pretty wide range. But it's same size. It's about $5, $10 shipping, but we'll slap that on there. Snaps right in. There's a part number for the float and the new sending unit gasket. Alright, it's back in there. I replaced our fuel line there. Let's go change the fuel filter real quick. Behind this mess of wires. Oh yeah, there's a good bit of rust coming out of there already. So the filter itself actually doesn't look that bad. You can see the rusty fuel though that was in it, but the element itself still looks pretty clean. Look at all that in the bottom of the bowl. That's all rust. Very fine. So we'll get this cleaned up. Get this cleaned up and get our new one on. All primed up. I went ahead and bled the brakes. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. But I'd like to go ahead and see if this thing cleans up at all. That cleaned up way nicer than I thought it would. The next thing that I noticed was that the PTO clutch is not disengaging, even with the clutch pedal all the way down. That's a nice leak we got there. Looks like the seal between the valves there is blown out now. And that did not work. So my next plan is to engage that and then hold the clutch down. Well, guess we're gonna have to go bush hog with it. Alright, well, I hate to cut this one off here, but this is getting to be more and more of a project. So I'll probably make another video on fixing the hydraulic leaks and some of the other little things, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this tractor anyways. I may end up selling it regardless, but anyways, that's going to be the end for this one, and you might see it again.